What's up? This song, this was the first song that I did that got like a ton of respect, a ton of props, yet I still remain underground probably because of my politics. I remember when I released the snippet of this, International Anthem of Bloods and Crips, I recorded a loose snippet of what part of the hook would be. Crip hop, dirty blood rock. Somebody, a fan, found me all the way in Orange County where I produced this. Niggs and Devils was produced and recorded out of the Dixie Hotel in Stanton, Orange County. And if you don't know anything about that, the street, I think it's Catella or whatever, you got nothing but hoes all up and down that street. You go out at night, every fucking block, there's hoes. But Stanton, Orange County, Stanton is like, I guess, the hood of Orange County, whatever. And I was just out there for other reasons. But also what I included in that song of the future, I brought ice raids to your doorstep. That was because I was at Stanton doing that whole ice shit. But anyway, I'm kicking it in Stanton, making the Niggs and Devils. I might make this beat. I'll put out the snippet. A person finds me all the way in Orange County and goes, oh shit, that was how. I'm like, fuck, and found me at a gas station. The story behind this is amazing. The way I made the beat, I think I recorded a video how I made the beat. The hand clap, the snares is a snare adjusted on native instruments, one of the older versions, and I recorded myself clapping my hands and mixed it in. You know, made the snare. The bass is the Moog Model D, but I based it on one of the songs from the original Blood and Crip albums. If you're a West Coast aficionado, like if you like West Coast rap, pick up at least the first Bloods and Crips album. I think it was done back in '93, and I based this on it. The beat, on there, it's gonna come. The beat, the song Crip, but really, but different ones. And it was done by the producer who I talked about in the song Crystals, Battle Cat, legendary West Coast guy, just genius. Did the shit for Dub C back in the day, the shadiest one. Did shit for Game on documentary. He's done shit for like every West Coast artist you can think of. He used to come on Instagram and he would do lives, and I would just sit there and just like fuck and watch all this shit. When I got incarcerated later, I ended up finding a guy who knew him and knew a bunch of people from death row, and we celled up, and I was the guy who I posted Strahan. But that's the story behind the International Anthem of Bloods and Crips. When you hear this part, when I take the synth and make it echo, that was based on the 50 Cent song Smoke from the album Animal Ambition. And that I heard the synth had like this, like a echoey quality, or like this, you know. So I put like reverb on it and I gave it like this echo just for the hook. And as I said before in that West Coast, how I sound evolved, that West Coast evolution folder I did of my West Coast sound, I put the hard hits in it because of what I heard on the Nas song Nasty, where it was like that old school hip hop. Also in that Bloods and Crips album done back in '93. So pick that up. Pick up the Bloods and Crips album, 1993. I think they made two of them. I think they made one like a year later. And I'll let you hear Crip. Here's what it sounds like. This is what the anthem is based on. Battle Cat produced this back in '93. So you can imagine, like, when I'm sitting there on Instagram and he gets on, I'm like, what? He was teaching people how he made beats and all this shit, and it was great, man. But yeah, that's how I came up with the international anthem for it, and also where I mention him in this song.
Yo, SYMYN, doing the special freestyle for the Crystals mix, so the Crystals album. It's gonna be an album, and I'm using using a thing called Compton drums on here. These are drums.
The whole thing, Compton drums. I was when I checked into Crystals, I said I'm gonna do the Crystals album. And when I checked into Crystal Casino in Compton, I was looking through my Native Instruments drums, or I think the drums on the Contact, or one of those programs where you make beats with the Beat Machine plugin. And I saw a plugin on there that said Compton drums, like 1970 or something like that. I said, let me play this, and I hit it. And it almost sounded like the shit on that Dre did for Alicia Keys, that song "New Day," "A New Day," and I was listening to it, and I was like, oh, okay, so I kind of made the beat a little bit like that, but not really. But I mentioned both people in here.
Drums that were historic to Compton hip hop. Out of the Compton Hotel, Crystal Casino. Let's do this. Number one troublesome. Let's do this for Dre. Dre beats, nigga. Yo, Dre beats. Why? Because everything I spray will knock you off your feet like Dre beats. I remember hearing that real hip hop knock rock when I heard the Chronic on TV. It made me stop. It was science. The sound went through my ears and made me drop. I started to bomb it like, fuck it, I might as well be Osama, cause that's the only way I'd be hotter than this shit that goes so hard, flows so hard. I know so many bars that I could spit and rehearse, but nah, I'd rather spit so that push and rehearse. Verse, you try to spit this verse, but nah. Back in the day, you could do things and try to not curse. But wow, when I could spit that real hip hop and have people in awe, make you drop your jaw, make you drop your jaw like Jaws. Beat you up. You try to repeat this stuff. Now you couldn't compete with me, why? Cause I'm too tough. When I knuckle up, hit these busters up. When I bust, you wanna be a buster, that's cool, trust. Not me though. Hit you in your face, knock you up for 3 though. 3 minutes, 3 hours. Devour all these cowards. You try to come through, succumb to my pressure. Spit against me, nah dog. You sour like Sour Patch Kids. When I spit this about the rap biz, hit you in your face. Fuck with me, you just some actors. Get out this place. More sick and ill, violent than Charles Bronson. You try to try this, nah. I'm defiant like Compton. Raise my fist in the air. You fuck with the wrong one. I spit this song, son. And I'll say son like I'm from New York, even though I got the East Coast style break with the Compton drums. Bombing, son, rock and run. I rock this, do it for one.
It's coming up.
I rock this, do it for one. Spit this real rap, here comes through with a cap, no cap. Beats ill like Battle Cat with that West Coast flavor. Something you can savor for all the haters. Better say.
Yeah, and that beat wasn't really based on Battle Cat, but I mentioned his name in there because how much it just like affected me that I could spend like weeks just studying with the dude. Like, wow, fuck. And then later living with somebody in prison who knew him, and that was the California prison document that I posted where I lived with a dude named Savory, and so like being able to like study a musician who knew him, and then him personally, it was like wow. But that beat in Crystals though was the beat was based loosely on The Bridge Is Over by Boogie Down Productions, KRS-One, and I can't remember what that is. But that was based on that, and A New Day by Dr. Dre, the Compton drums, but then also the way the drums come together and flam or wham, whatever they call it, where you do a drum roll. But it's like a drum machine drum roll that's real, it's almost like robotic kind of. But yeah, International Anthem of Bloods and Crips though. Get it. Hold on. Oh, it's not working anyway. International Anthem, Bloods and Crips, though, yeah, based on the first Blood and Crip albums that came out in 1993. Something that Wise told me about when I used to go over his house, shit, in high school. So I didn't really hear about him probably till like 2000, 2001, and. I remember when I was on a date with a chick I got a first kiss from, we were in the mall. I just bought Supreme Clientele by Ghostface Killah. It just came out. And I looked and I saw Blood and Crips. I said, I gotta buy that. I said, I'm gonna get Supreme Clientele. So I buy Supreme Clientele. I get in the car, and my girl's friend was driving. She drives me back wherever, and I leave Supreme Clientele on the floor underneath the seat or whatever. I didn't want it to get stolen or something like that. And I didn't end up hearing Supreme Clientele or buying it, until years later. That's my Supreme Clientele story. So shout out to Ghostface. I bought it when it first came out, the first one. Didn't actually listen to the whole album until like 2 years later because I was so mad. I bought the CD and I left it on the floor of my girlfriend's car. I was like, fuck it. Anyway, yeah. But this story behind the International Anthem of Bloods and Crips. First song I really got some like serious props for, where dude found me in a totally different county and was like, man, that shit was hot. I was like, wow. But yeah, based on a Battle Cat production, because I used to listen to all his shit. Dub C was probably the first hip hop artist that the Shadiest One album, or Just Clown, the one that Just Clown was on. That was probably the first West Coast album that I just listened to over, and the whole fucking thing. Just loved it. Anyway, story behind International Anthem of Bloods and Crips on the Niggas and Devils album by SYMYN. Go on.